Hi.
Hi.
Says we are live. Actually, we were alive, but you couldn't see us. But now we're live and you can see us. It's even more fun. We see there's a bunch of folks out there.
We were just
And
backstage chatting away, and we said, let's get out there and see them.
yeah, we want to chat too. So I have lilacs in my garden today, besides the normal things I have in my garden. And Andrea and I are going to read from the garden. But as y'all know, and I'm gonna give it 3 more minutes, and then I'll start with the stone of the day. What we do every day, Andre, is I have a stone of the day, then I have a thought of the day, and usually it's about a specific part of the garden. But they're going to be spared that today because once again, my channeling dream was interrupted with other stuff, which I'll explain all to y'all some other time. And then we're going to discuss Lionsgate, which is 8/8, which is the 8th day of the 8th month. And we're going to talk about how to work with that energy. It is every month, we'll fill up the time now with this. Every month has a portal date. In January, it's the 1st. In February, it's the 2nd. In March, it's the 3rd of March. Do we see the pattern here? So 8/8 is this portal. And they're kind of the one from 8/8 on, or where we begin to emerge into the new year. We're starting to set up the patterns for 2022, which seems almost impossible, but that's where we are. And I'm going to talk about that, and Andrea is going to chime in on that. And really, this whole lesson is kind of about awakenings, and we're focusing on the fact we're multidimensional beings in earthly aspects. And what we do in our earthly aspect is really only a small part of who we are. And people say, but I hear these stories, someone had a complete change, and what happened? What happened? Well, there's a quote that came up when I started looking at awakening or waking up. And a lot of people said, well, I keep trying and I keep telling the universe what I need and da 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 da. And there's a quote from Abraham Hicks, and I heard one of her little speeches in the morning when I was getting ready. It said, in neediness, you will repel. So if you're sitting there, I need, it's going to repel the thing away. In completion, you attract. And that's why I think it's important for people to understand waking up stories. It's like something that happens to you one day that you were not expecting that day. And you will feel it. We talk about it. We call it, oh, hello, True Love community. It's called a shift. And when you go through it, you will feel it as a shift. And I have had 3 clients, and I had one I spoke with this morning, and she said I could talk about it. About 4 weeks ago, she was walking down a street in the town she works in, and she's about ready to retire. She wanted to go part-time at the law firm she worked for. They weren't able to negotiate that. She didn't think she knew what she was going to do. She's walking down the street, and all of a sudden, it's like she felt her energy pulling out into her auric field, like the energy you feel in the middle of you that makes you you was leaving. And she honestly thought, God, am I dying? And then she realized no. And she said, no, energy come back into me. I'm walking down a street. I don't want to bump into people. And she came back in herself, and she said she felt so at peace and she had shifted. So since that day, she decided, well, I'll go find some part-time jobs, and then I'll just go give my notice, and I'll restart my over the age of 65 life. So she went and found a headhunter, got 3 or 4 good job leads, interviewed for 2 of them, got accepted at both of them, picked the one she wanted, went into work last Monday, fully ready to hand in her resignation to her bosses. And they called her in their office, and she was like, God, really, my phone's tapped? I mean, woo. And she gets in there, and they go, well, we've looked at it all, and due to staffing changes within the office, we know you want to go work part-time, but we can't offer you that. And we really have to make some changes, so we're going to let you go. And she went, oh. And they said, but they gave her a big severance package. They're covering a whole bunch of stuff for her. And the severance package goes more than beyond the day she's decided to start this other job. And she called me last week, and when she called me right after she had that meeting with him, and she said, for the first time in my life, I understand what it means to be in the flow and to just go with it and have faith and feel complete, and it's all going to be all right. And trust me, she and I have known each other 42 and a half years, and this is not her temperament. I mean, this is like she has shifted.
Shifted.
Yeah. So I have two other people who reached out to me. One woman who was walking a dog and realized her feet were a foot off the ground, and she wasn't really working on the ground. And since that week, she wrote me about it. And she said, "What the hell happened?" And I wrote back to her and I told her about my friend's story. She wrote me a couple days ago and said, "Everything I've wanted, that been working so hard, thought I had to push to have happen. I just said, okay, whatever happens, happens." And it's all coming through. So that's what it means when you feel that completeness, when you can clear yourself up enough. And I don't know a way to generate it. I don't know a way to make it happen. When I started feeling myself shift, I thought, first of all, I was going nuts. So I want to let y'all know you're not. And the second part is to just then accept it in your heart, open your heart up and open that heart energy and say, thank you. I'm ready to receive what's coming. And then get ready for a fire hose of good stuff. Okay. So that's awakening for today.
A fire hose of good stuff. I love it.
Okay. So do you want to start doing a reading on just awakening, and then we'll go into stones and things?
Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
Awakening.
And I think we're both going to be making everybody very seasick by moving our camera.
That is correct. Tell us about it.
And tech support comes home tonight, so tomorrow my show should have 2 cameras. Yes, yes. Okay. Energy of awakening. Whoa, we got them all over the board.
Wow. Yeah.
We did. So you want to go first?
Well, what I'm seeing here is that awakening is part of you manifesting and asking. Okay. So
yeah,
whether it's consciously or subconsciously, your body, your mind is craving that shift to get out of those the doldrums of the lower vibrations. And that's it. You want to get things in the right order.
That's
you
beautiful
want harmony, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the harmony of it all. It's a little touch of magic, which brings you to spirit, return of spirit. What a beautiful set of cards. So you need to be open, which is part of the manifesting and asking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get things in the right order. Then it starts to happen. I wish I would have known years ago what I was going through, because I didn't understand. And like you say, you get these out of body experiences, or I had extreme vertigo, all these things that were part of the change of my shifting. And I wish I would have had a handbook. Maybe we'll write a handbook, Nancy.
Yeah. How to get from here to there.
How to get from here to there. What are the telltale signs of here to there? So what did you get in your garden?
I got the way, for people who are from Andrea's channel and have not seen much of the garden, I think a lot of you will have, but these are the elements: earth, fire, water, air. And then out about it are statements that like restate, past, future. And we ended up with 2 stones in the future. And what happened in here is we got spirit in water. And each of these stones, this is spirit, this is clarity, this is values, this is mind, and this is body. And what we've got in restate, which is out in the solar plexus, it's out here. And when stones cross lines, it means it's really in both places. So we got in restate, which is kind of an interesting place. It said that the dilemma is not well defined within the universe. They don't understand why we're having problems with this. I mean, this is just our energy. We're all energy. Energy is always moving. Why are we having such a problem with this? But inside ourselves, we're feeling the solar plexus, and it says there's more than one way to move forward. So that's the first thing you need to know when we're talking about the shift of energy. The most important stone in the middle is the spirit stone. In case you're wondering why I'm flipping these things, I channeled this in, but these are the guide words that I was told to use, and I don't always remember them, and I want to get them right, especially today because there are new people looking at this. But this says that right now the transmutation is complete. That all the energy shifting.
Nancy Jean, some people are saying there's no sound, or maybe just one person. Can you guys hear us? Andrea Galvin says no sound. Maybe it's just her.
Because I don't. Yeah, she's the only one I've seen that's saying no sound. Check your microphones, because we checked our mics before we came on.
Okay.
They can hear. Okay. Okay. Good.
Yes. Well, Nancy channeled this.
Okay, I channeled this. And spirit in water means the transmutation is almost completed. And water, the way energy moves across this is it comes out of the earth and it moves across the center and comes out the water and flows out. So when you get spirit here, it means the spirit's moving forward. Now, these are the interesting ones. It says that our values are in the present, and our values are being purified now.
Wow.
In other words, we're learning what our values are, and this is the mind, and the mind is in the future. And think of your situations regarding moving forward in the future tense. In other words, I may not, even if I've started it, I'm not nearly finished. I'm not done yet. And then we have the body cross between the future and the crown chakra. That this space is crown chakra. And it says the life in the crown chakra, the body means the life force needs to be guided by physical movement. So it's not just good enough to sit here and think about it. You got to go out and do the things you're being led to do. And the body in the future means things will physically appear to you. So what I see in this is the universe is kind of amazed it takes us so long to catch on, but it will reveal itself to us in a way we can understand. Our spirits are all definitely moving forward. We're building what we need to know right now. Our mind needs to think of this in the future tense. In other words, it's not all here right now, but things are still coming. And our body we need to embody, we need to physically bring in the changes we want to see, whether that's calming our own energy in our body or however else you want to solve it. But that's what the awakening is about. So we got hundreds.
I mean, I can see it happening. Like, you just see more and more people asking about it, questioning it, and people in your own life who aren't normally so into this stuff kind of like come around now and ask questions and like, hey, this happened to me the other day. What does it mean? Whereas before they never would have even brought up the subject. So that's what I'm excited about to see.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, are recognizing synchronicities. And when it talks about bringing things into the physical space, if you don't know what a synchronicity means, it means you hear about something, and then you get the option to go deal with it or to see it or to partake in it. And sometimes it's words of warning. Like in the case, I had a synchronicity, you can go back and find it, where I was told by spirit for like 4 months on my Facebook pages, I needed to be checked for skin cancer. And finally, one day I said, oh, hell, this hospital's doing it right by me. I'll just go by for a check. And I had just short of a systemic melanoma. They got it before it got systemic, or I'd be chasing it the rest of my life. So trust me, synchronicities are important. Some of the vertigo is just a function of your own energy really having to go through that. The day after Easter Monday, they thought I had a heart attack, and it was not a heart attack. As a matter of fact, it was a good lesson, because when I went and got checked by the cardiologist, he told me I had the cleanest arteries he'd seen, carotid artery he'd ever seen. He says, there's no way you could have been morbidly obese for 30 years and have your arteries look like that. And I go, yes. I'll teach you. Eat all that bacon, see what happens. But there's nothing you can do. What I found is once I accepted, it was a sign. I asked the elements in me that bring that forward. I said, give me a warning. And so they do kind of tell me to sit down, because it's coming.
Yeah, you can ask, ask like, is this part of of my ascension.
Yeah, please do check that it's nothing physical, because
Yeah,
those can be.
we aren't doctors, but
No.
but you'll start to notice, or like you said, people will start noticing a set of numbers all the time,
Yeah.
synchronicities, a little bit of vertigo, a little bit of out of body. Dreams will start becoming more vivid. And I mean, my dreams now, I've always had very interesting dreams, but nowadays, oh,
It's, yeah, for those of us who thought we really liked sleep. I mean, you can sleep for 8 hours and you feel like you've had a whole nother 24-hour day.
yes,
in that
you're at
time.
work.
Yeah, well, we are at work with what we do.
You are at work.
The other thing for those of you who are new here that may not be aware of it, as I work a lot with crystals and stones. And so in honor of Andrea, because I know she loves these stones, I am going to talk about Bumblebee jasper. She's got a piece.
Nancy Jean sent me this one.
That's from Arkansas. And the reason I talk about stones is people need stones for different reasons. And I actually have a question off my community page about stones that we'll get to when we get to that part. But today we have Bumblebee jasper, which is highly restorative to the system. So if you're having a lot of vertigo and you need to get grounded and you need to feel back inside yourself, Bumblebee jasper is a good bet. And it's not expensive. You can get small pocket stones like this pretty easily. They elevate your mood, increase your vitality, boost your confidence and self-esteem. Used for good intent, it is a remarkable stone to increase wealth, abundance, assisting in the impossible to manifest. See, that's why I sent her one. It's an excellent ally when decisiveness, precision, or persuasiveness are needed. And it's got the solar plexus and the sacral chakra are what's featured there.
Mm-hmm.
And for the solar plexus, it's the energy distribution center in your body. It's where the energy comes up and it says move, move, move. When the solar plexus is in balance, you're free to interpret the world with your own thoughts and emotions, which is interesting when we're talking about awakening, not living in fear or violating the dictums of others. When the solar plexus is out of balance, you'll feel fear and displeasure. So this stone helps you get it in balance. And the sacral chakra is between the root chakra and the solar plexus in your body, and it controls the flow of energy, the center of gravity for your body. When this is out of balance, symptoms will manifest themselves in confusion and dependency. But when it's in balance, you have grace, feel the pleasure of life, and enjoy yourselves.
Nice.
And so I told Andrea, whenever she shows up, I end up giving stuff away. So
such a beautiful soul. Helen, seasonal vertigo, I don't know, we're not doctors here, and vertigo sometimes just is straight up vertigo. So if you ever have that, please go check your doctor. I mean, it could be caused by any number of things.
Mm-hmm.
We're not saying straight out vertigo is part of ascension.
No. I have a friend who has very bad scoliosis, and she has to stay in touch with a really good chiropractor to help her, but she knows that's where her vertigo comes from. And she knows how to handle it. And she's a brilliant, creative woman, but she copes with that all the time. So I talked about this lovely yellow stone, this Bumblebee jasper. And now I'm going to talk about the Lionsgate, which is 8/8. And
so what I love is every time I talk to you, I learn something, or many things. Of course, my teacher.
Yes,
I didn't realize every month had a portal. You taught me that today. I didn't know. I don't know why I didn't know that. Which is fascinating. Now it's something I'm very going to much read into.
Mm-hmm.
So you're saying it's the day, like January's 1, February's 2, March is 3 on the third day. So it follows the month number. Month is the day, right? So August is August 8th for the portal day. This is fascinating stuff. So tell us what.
And it's called the Lionsgate because it falls in the absolute middle part of Leo. And this year it's very it's very, very important because it is lined up with the new moon. It's very close to the new moon. So there's got that new moon plant thing. So, and it's always been known or accepted among people who follow portal dates. I'll get back to reputable places to buy stones. The reason it's there is because when the sun, when we're at that date in Leo, our solar system is, if you follow the sun out, it's pointing straight to Sirius. Sirius is an extremely bright, bright, bright star. Thank you so much, Roseanne.
Beautiful. Thank you.
And what happens is that Sirius is called our spiritual sun, and it's right in the middle of Leo. And so it's called the Lionsgate. In other words, it's going through Leo to get to that gate, to that. And so it's an incredibly spiritual night. I've known about it for about 3 years. And I really do manifestations and meditation on that day. And one of the things I think is kind of fun.
So you're saying that's a really good day to do a meditation on
Right, right.
day.
And I suggest you do it at 8:08 in the morning, wherever your time is, or 8:08 at night. You start then, because that makes me even a little more disciplined. If I say I'm going to do it sometime during 8:08, I will fudge around and then it'll be midnight. It'll be 8:09. So, and the other thing I learned to do was on that day to write 8 steps I needed to do to move forward. And one of my steps last year was, after talking with Andrea and a couple of the other readers on YouTube, was I said, okay, this year I want to start my YouTube channel. I started it in December when my angels kicked my butt and said, quit talking about it. But that was one of my 8 steps. And most of the other 8 things have come through. The other thing you can do is to write 7 things to get rid of. So you don't talk about diminishment with the same power you're talking with the 8. You don't have to do that part, but that's kind of interesting. The meditative stones, and you all know I always know which stone you're supposed to meditate with. The meditative stones that are great with this, and I have some citrine. It's not the most brightly yellow citrine, but this is a little piece of citrine. And as Andrea learned from me the first time we met, size does not matter with stones. So you have some giant, huge piece of
Thank
citrine.
you, Suzanne.
Thank you, Suzanne. A fellow Canadian. That you can have this. This is as powerful as this, which is as powerful as this. And this is a piece of pyrite, which is also yellow. So as any of you have watched Andrea and I together, you know Nancy's going to have a giveaway, and I'm going to give away one of those crystals to 3 people who will connect through my email, and I will put it in the description on my community page, because I'm using SteamYard. I've never used it before, so I wasn't sure how to put all this stuff on there. But basically, my email is crystaldirections with an S .nancyjean@gmail.com. And if you put in there Lionsgate, that's all you have to put, Lionsgate, you're going to be up for one of these 3 wonderful crystals. And if I get enough people within the first 3 days, I may be able to get this. If you're in Canada, you're not going to get these in time. But if you're in the US, I have half a shot at getting it to you. And those are 3
by August 8th is what you're saying.
That's by August 8th, yes. So do you want to do a reading on Lionsgate?
I do.
Okay.
So are we going to see what's in store for that month? Or
let's see what's in store for the energy around this Lionsgate, because each one kind of has a different temperament, just like different moons and new moons and full moons and all that stuff have. Okay. Yes, you could use orange calcite, Snickle Fritz. It would work, because this is orange calcite and it looks terribly yellow to me.
Then I'm going to pick Oh, the yellow stone. Yes.
Yeah.
So I picked a card and I'm going to throw the stone.
Okay, that's your mind. That's the mind stone. That's the citrine that she was talking about.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's in store for the world during Lionsgate? Oh, right off the grid. Should I throw again?
Where are you close to?
Third eye.
Oh, cool. You know where mine landed up? My yellow stone ended up in third eye too.
Oh my God. So insight. So things coming to light.
Yes, things coming to light and in your mind, and mine crossed with path forward, which means third eye, the third eye brings intuition and insights, and combined with the path forward, it says your mind is open to watch for all signs. So this is going to be an important cycle to watch for omens. What's your card?
I don't think you want to see it. Well, okay. It's the death card. So to me, what that is saying is that there's going to be a loss of innocence in the next month when I think things come out in the news. Mm-hmm. This isn't predicting death. This is predicting, because we got insight and death. So I think, to me, that's saying a loss of innocence, like in a sense where, you know what, you're going to hear stuff you can't believe.
Yeah. And it's just different. I mean, like one time someone was talking to me about how we wander around to small children, but if you go up to a child and you say, you're going to get a 3-carat ring, and the child will see 3 orangey carats stuck on a ring, right? Because they don't understand the value of that ring. They don't understand that word carat. We're going to have a lot of words redefined for us in the next month.
I just clarified. So look at that. Things coming to light, Leo the sun, death card, and the man. This is about, you know who, you know, or men collective.
Or men as the masculine energy. Remember, we're spinning out into a more feminine, divine energy.
I think this is some exposure about things in the news.
Okay, the rest of my reading sort of follows kind of what you said. The 2 stones that are together are in air, and as we know, air is our thoughts or swords. That would be the equivalent of swords in tarot. And we have the body. It says ground your thoughts, and spirit is transforming our thinking right now. And then the other stone that's in an interesting place is in fire. We have clarity, and it says use ideas you carry from your past or past lives to find solutions. So there are solutions here. It's telling us there are solutions here. But then the most interesting one was the grounding, the pyrite, ended up between go for it and water. And go for it, it says all is aligned with your own values to move forward. And water, as I told you, that means things that are moving out. So in water, it means grounding changes will be settling into long-term patterns. So they're both talking about sort of radical shifts and change, but we all have the spirit to make it through.
And a lot of stuff that's going to come out in the news, I think it's not going to shock us, this group, this community, as much as it will be as perhaps his followers, you know, those who've
taken a big bad bathtub full of lies and lounged in it. I'm not nice. Andrea is, if you want a nice reader, go to her. Someone gave us money. Wait a minute. I see who it was. We thanked them already. I just want to make sure I don't. I'm so not used to getting money, guys. I don't know how to do things. Okay.
I can't wait till you and I have an event where we're together and we're doing crystals, or we're at a crystal cave. People can come along with us, and we just do I don't know what. It'll be tons of fun.
We're going to have a good time.
Yep.
Round robin readings. Okay, we're kind of, does anybody have a question? I know, like, there's not 1,000 questions about Lionsgates, but what you should do. Possibly. Yeah, that's possible. That's really one of those things.
It's going to be not, you know, it'll be awful. So,
yeah. And everybody needs to know how to cleanse their space and cleanse their mind and walk away from it, because I'm not saying walk away from the reality of it, but walk away from the energy of it so that you can.
Yeah, observe, don't absorb it.
Right. Yes.
Watch
Yes.
it on the news if you have to, but don't absorb the energy.
Yes. I used to have a friend who said, if you're an empath and you're going into really goopy energy, wrap yourself up in polyurethane so you ain't soaking it up. Questions from the community. Today, I have on my community page, for those of you who don't know this stuff, we have a place where people can put questions and I will answer them. And today I got a question about crystal jewelry that's good for keeping off negative energy like power vampires. Well, my first answer to that would be, why are you going where there's a power vampire? You just got like no hope or no chance. If you are looking at a power vampire, the stone that is most effective, and this is not the one you want to put on your necklace, but this is called black tourmaline. And tourmaline comes in pink, blue, all kinds of colors, but black tourmaline is probably with obsidian is probably one of the most protective stones. Now you can find beautiful little slips because this stone kind of flakes off into little ridges. You can find beautiful small necklaces or with a piece of tourmaline on it. You wear that baby, that sucker's going to work overtime. That thing's better than garlic. It is. I wouldn't wear obsidian because obsidian is actually natural glass. And if it drops, it will break. It's a very fragile stone. As a matter of fact, I gave Andrea a piece on her grid and I told her, don't touch that because you will cut yourself. It is very, very, very sharp.
What about the question someone had about, do we know a reputable place online to buy crystals?
Okay, I don't know where you live, but I'd start with a local place if you can, because Andrea and I've had this discussion before. When you go, malachite's a good protection stone, but it more protects your heart. If you want to just keep evil away from you, tourmaline's the deal. If you can go in the store and touch the stones, it's going to mean so much more to you. But if you can't, the other thing you can do is there's a site called Crystal Vaults. I do not get paid by these people. I don't do anything else. They have wonderful tutorials on their site, and they also sell very reputable stones.
What's it called?
Crystal Vault,
Crystal Vault.
You locked it up in a vault. There's another guy called Crystal Collector. He's on YouTube. You can watch him. You can see what feelings you get about him. I know for sure he's a decent source of Moldavite. I know people that know for sure that he imports the real deal. Moldavite's easy to forge, so you want to go to someone you trust. And other than that, there's a thing called Nature's Treasures. It's in Austin. Rock Barrel near me in Dallas is very good, but I don't get out much, guys. And now that we have the Delta variant and they're telling me it's more like contagious than chickenpox, I'm not leaving for a while, so you're kind of on your own. If you think I've seen this person on Etsy, if you would like to send their link to me, I can kind of look and tell. But unless you really really know the dealer and can touch the stones, it's really hard to tell. Okay, we got a question from someone who wants to know about peridot.
Most cities have a new age store.
Yeah.
If you're able to go in, if not, check online and
read about them. Read about a stone. If you hear something about a stone, read about it and decide if it's something you think you might want to get engaged with. Crystal. Okay, I'm going to look up peridot for somebody. I read these things because I'm old and I forget things.
Peridot's blue, right?
Right. And I hope it's in my list of things. I'm sure it is. No, it's not. It's not. I've used peridot in grids before, but
what I like doing when I go to a crystal store or crystal fair or whatever you want to call it is just walk around and look at the crystals and the stones and touch. I do that before I read or know what it means. because often I find that very interesting when I'm really drawn to something.
I know why peridot was stringing. It's not. It's green, and peridot is one of the stones that comes from the stars. It's a tektite. There's also peridot that our planet makes, but a lot of peridots ride in with meteors. And I've actually seen a mirror. I knew this was ringing the bell. I went to a show where they sold nothing but meteors, and it was sliced. It was sliced like you've seen stones, like this, where you see where they slice it in like a geode. This one's been dyed, but I just like the colors, so I keep it in.
There's a green one.
Yeah, and they are green. And
sorry, I don't know why I said blue.
I don't know. And I just fell right into it because I thought Andrea knows everything. But peridot is, and when they sliced this meteor in half, it was like little glitters of peridot in it. It was like a little stained glass window with peridot in it. It's one of the earliest. It's one of the earliest minerals that we know of that's been on Earth. We know it comes out of sites where meteors have landed, and it's in meteors. It's one of those stones because meteors are either metallic or they have other minerals in them, and that's the one that rides in with the stars. So, can you think of a question out of all that we can ask?
Well, I just want to say, like I was saying, like go into a store if you are allowed to and see what you resonate towards. You don't have to investigate it first. It's almost like see what calls out to you. You'll feel it. I feel it when I go into those New Age stores. I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to go this way. Oh, I'm supposed to pick up this crystal. Oh, you can start to feel it. I love going into those stores, by the way. We were saying earlier, maybe we wanted to read on Earth, nature, an Earth event.
Okay.
Because some people have asked both of us if there's going to be some stuff going on.
Okay. Before we get to that, I want to show you this. I got this as a gift from somebody I built a grid for. What she does is she goes to the Gem and Mineral Show in Dallas, and there's a man there who has these geodes uncut. And you get to pick your geode, and he cuts it, and you find out what's inside. It's like a big. Cool? And this one, go. Yeah, this is cool. Look at there's other inclusions. There's calcite inclusions in that beautiful, beautiful matrix of points. She gave me both sides of this one and one that's even bigger.
That's on my to-do list to go and to pick one, and then they cut it and you see what's in it. Oh my God.
That's why I wanted to mention. There's so much fun stuff, and they're not all that expensive. One year I went to see my grandchildren for my birthday, and I took down a geode, not that big, but a smaller one, and we cracked it, and it broke into 3 parts. So they each have a part, and I have a part, and that's the grandma's geode.
Aww.
And it was it was really pretty white crystals inside. And one time I sent my granddaughter geodes to give away as her party favors for her birthday, and the parents had more fun cutting those things open than the kids did. So if you can get to where real rocks are, it's fun. Crystal Collector is very good. He's on YouTube. Yes, somebody just said it to me. So
exactly.
We're going to do Earth events.
Yeah, in the next what?
Year? Yeah, let's do year.
End of year. Or whole year. Geodes can smell for a bit.
Okay, we're going to go look at world events. Oh. Well, one of the things I teach about the garden is this is summer. What's closest to me is summer. This is fall. This quadrant is fall. This is winter, and this is spring. And I would say, since there are 4 stones in fall, that this fall is going to be fun.
I had one go right off the thing. Should I do it again?
You can throw that one back in or move it into the closest space. She's an enthusiastic thrower, guys. What can I say?
it landed almost in the same sort of thing. So the
Okay.
green stone is in root,
Mm-hmm.
the purple stone is in throat, and the
Mm-hmm.
blue stone is in tree of life. So what is that saying to me as a novice here?
Mm-hmm.
Root. That the earth has something to say coming
Mm-hmm.
out of their mouth that's making me feel like volcanoes or something.
Mm-hmm.
Earth. Let's see. And two of them were in the northern hemisphere.
Mm-hmm.
One is in the southern hemisphere. The one in the on the eastern side of the northern hemisphere, they're going to see it coming.
Yeah.
The one on the west side is going to be water, and the one
Mm-hmm.
southern is going to be land.
Okay.
So to me, that's three events in the next year.
Mm-hmm. Water being some sort of tsunami or flooding or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Earth being the earth.
Yeah.
We know how it moves.
And then this purple one, I mean, that's your third eye, and it landed in the throat chakra. Like they're gonna see, there's gonna be enough warning on this one, I think, because they'll
Okay.
see it and say it before it
It's
happens.
something we can plan for.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like maybe fires where people can get out of the way.
yeah. So whatever it is, they can look. There's path forward, so they'll be able to. And then insight is beside it. So this one here,
Mm-hmm.
that's I feel like relief for that side at least.
Because I have two stones in throat and path forward. They cross the line, and they're saying that um, the heart and the eye needs to be open, but it will open. It's actually going to do some pure. It's like purification.
Mm-hmm.
Mind is open to the right signs. The path forward is spiritual, and it's balanced the energy. It's going to balance energy on the planet to move us ahead, but spirit shines through with self-expression. So even though we're going to see these as horrible things, it's really going to do some. It's
Yeah, because this green stone, which represents earth, landed in the root chakra. So rooting,
Mhm.
base.
And the
I love your oracle garden, Nancy.
just takes a while because it's not as quick as the cards. Values will be really reconsidered. I think that's going to be the climate change portion of
Yeah.
that we can control. And then for Earth, it said more will be brought forward that's towards cleansing and purification. So what I got was we may not like it, but it's good for the Earth. And the clarity is from how our Earth exactly sits and is into the air, into what we think.
Yeah, and this blue one landed in Tree of Life Harmony. So even though these events happen, it's for the better.
Yeah, when anything lands in the tree of life, that means it's a superior. That's a superior element to the other parts of the reading. In other words, that's the energy that I look at first.
Yeah.
So I think there are going to be some things. I think there are going to be shocking things.
Yeah.
Somebody wants to. Well, yeah, volcanoes are getting all active all around the Atlantic Rim too. Someone wants a yes no. I can't do yes nos on the board. Andrea can. They want to know about a tsunami in Hawaii. I will defer to you because I don't do yes nos. On my garden is not for a yes no. It's for the situation around.
I asked if a tsunami is going to hit the Hawaiian Islands by the end of 2022, and the first card out is Bullseye.
Mm-hmm.
So that says to me that there is going to be an earthquake event in the zone that they are in. Well, that would be a yes.
Yes, that would be a yes. I'm sorry, the garden is 4 and 5D energy, and 3D energy gives you kind of a clear yes, no, and I don't want to give you something that sounds like I'm a Chinese fortune cookie.
And for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, don't move from Hawaii because of what we said today. Somebody asked about how the garden comes together. When you order it, this is what you get. And inside this tube is the cloth you see, the 5 stones I roll, the 4 stones that hold it down, they're actually symbolize fire, water, air, and earth. And those elements, by putting those stones out there, you create.
You get bags with her stones,
right?
And you get the scarf,
Right.
And you get it all rolled up in the tube with instructions.
With the keyword instructions.
Yeah.
And if you've been watching my show for any time at all, you can understand that I'm each day. Normally, I talk more about I channel in a space, and I was doing pretty good. I did 10 in a row, and then I hit air, and then so I started seeing other visions like Mitt Romney and Liz Cheney walked onto the patio of air, and that kind of blew the whole environment. Actually, Mitt Romney looked at me and he said, "You wouldn't listen to me when I was on the TV. Get out of here." And I'm like, "It's my dream. What the hell?" Anyway, but I will be back tonight to channeling and finishing it out. And then I'm putting all of those impressions, and I have other people who've gotten this from me early, like Andrea and some other people. And every time they read, they'll tell me, I felt more like this. I like that. And I'm incorporating their ideas. And I have a lady in Puerto Rico who could write the book, as far as I'm concerned. Man, I spent an hour with her. I'm like scribbling down all the things she's figured out. So it's a work in progress. It's a totally intuitive tool. When you get yours, it's yours. You do you. That's all over my paperwork.
That's the best advice when you use this. You do you, right? Mm-hmm. She set you up with some tools and some guides to work it. But again, it's what do you see?
How do you feel?
What do you see?
Okay, we're going to do Andrea's favorite stone, which is Bumblebee jasper. And I happen to have quite a bit because I use it in my grids frequently. So what question do you want Bumblebee? One and done question do you want Bumblebee jasper to answer?
Bumblebee jasper. Message about dolphins.
Okay. Oops, it rolled off the board.
Rolled off the board.
Oh, they are incredibly, the Bumblebee jasper has all that enlightenment and it's bringing forward. It hit the sacral, which is creativity. Their minds, and we were much more connected to them in the past than we are now.
Yeah.
And they have incredible creativity. They bring that out in us. They bring out that understanding of our humanity and our connection to all of the world. Except that dog. I'm not connected.
I love dolphins.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're beautiful, beautiful creatures. And let's see, I did the kind of how they sit with us. I'm going to do a 5 stone on the journey for dolphins in the future. They have a very clear future. We're going to learn how to communicate with them intuitively. That may be one of the gifts the aliens bring to us. They are the path forward for our mind. They embody the best of ourselves. And are you ready for this? Spirit fell right between fire, water, air, and earth. So
right
spirit,
in the center.
Right in the middle. So they are wonderful, creative creatures that really hit and aspire for us. When we can tune into them, you can really feel their...
We're going to understand a lot more, I think. Once
right.
And
Right.
I'm going to be first in line to be one of the people who can talk to them. So I'll be shoving you guys out of the way. Sorry.
That's right. Let's see what else. Okay, this is commercial time. Both Andrea and I do readings outside of doing them live. Although Andrea is very generous with her time and does a whole lot of different shows. I don't because I'm old and I'm tired. But the Yellowstone is citrine. Somebody asked what's Yellowstone we're showing on here. It's either yellow or orange, depending on the light. I do personal readings. I do past life readings. I do readings with the garden, and all those are different. But you can get a hold of me in the description in my site. If you go to my community page, it's there. There's also I'm listed on the Tarot community, Tarot Love community. So if that's easier for you to find, you can go there, and it will direct you to how to get in touch with me. But what I'm doing right now is today is the last day. I feel like a used furniture salesman. Today is the last day. But I've been giving a $10 off coupon for people who want to buy the garden from me. If you contact me, I will send you the coupon and it will automatically take you to the place. It takes $10 off the cost of the garden. One of the reasons I did this is I wanted more people to get a hold of the garden, and I understand about time and money and whatever. But in August, I'm going to take all of that's the garden. I'm going to take all of my people who bought the garden for me. I'm going to send out an invitation, and I'm going to be doing some free. You have to own a garden, though. There's going to be a way you get in through my website to get on, and I'll be teaching 20 people at a time. It'll be an interactive Zoomy type workshop. I think it's going to be 3 to 4 lessons. I'm not really sure. I have taught before, not the garden. I've taught tarot. So there's going to be a lot of elements I bring in from all the other disciplines I know how to do. And so that's where I'm heading things right now. The more of you that read, the more that I hear of how you read, the stronger it makes this tool, because it came through me, but it didn't come from me. There's a difference if you think about it. So, Andrea, do your whatever you do.
My spiel?
Yeah.
Come on over to Lilac Lantern Tarot, where I read on lots of kinds of stuff, lots of kinds of shows. I do personal readings, but I am holding off until September because there's a couple things I need to do, like get my cards made and some other stuff.
I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
So yeah, and you can message me at lilacmessage@gmail.com.
Yes. I'm really excited about her getting the cards out. They're just going to be wonderful.
And that's another thing. Like I didn't sit down and think about them. They just were in my head, right? They threw me for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like your Oracle garden.
Well, I told somebody I feel like A. Waite for the Rider Waite deck going around in the early 1900s saying they really work. Honest, try it. It happens.
Try it. And you know what? Again, like use the tool your way.
Mm-hmm.
Use tarot cards your way, or the Oracle garden. You don't have to follow a set of rules. It's whatever works for you.
It's your feelings. It's your energy and your element. And Vivian here, who is going to have Vivian's notes, is going to be a part of my notes. She's absolutely marvelous, and she's in the chat. So say hi to Vivian.
Hi, Vivian.
I'm kind of done with things unless people have a specific question they would like answered, and we will answer it whichever way we think works best, and we'll do that for another few minutes. And then I really have to let the lovely lady from Canada go enjoy the cool weather while I hide out from the 102 in Texas.
102. Oh dear.
Well, we have air conditioning.
Hi, sunshine. Yes, I am way behind on emails, but I have next week off my day job and we'll catch up. Thank you.
And she's going to finish getting her cards. You guys have no idea what you go through when you create something. You have to see the printing. You have to approve it. Yeah. This was the third version of the scarf that we had. Somebody wants to know the future of polar bears.
Polar bears.
Okay.
Polar bears.
Okay.
Polar bears. They are one I am nervous about for sure.
Yeah. It's a situation on polar bears. Actually, I got a good stone for them. They showed up and go for it, and they do have a future in the spiritual way. They're present. They're clarifying things, and they're present. You know what? Where that? You know, I told you the stone landed right in the middle.
Yep.
Values ended up right in the north, south, east, and west. If we can't hold on to these basic, unique creatures in our world, we're in all kinds of trouble. But this shows that we're going to do it. There's going to be the will to do it.
Wow. And my stone landed in sacral creativity, which makes me think they're going to learn how to adapt to these new surroundings because of climate change. So that's good. That's good news.
Yes. Will Yellowstone erupt? I certainly hope not, because my brother's house is the second to the last piece of private property before you hit Yellowstone in Wyoming.
I mean, Yellowstone might erupt, but it could be 5,000 years from now, right?
Yeah, but we're talking about, will Yellowstone erupt in time to get my brother's house? Sorry,
will Yellowstone erupt in the next, 5 years?
Yeah.
2025 or something?
Yeah.
Like 2025? Yellowstone.
Oh, and I had another stone land right in the middle. God.
2020.
I have to read this because it is my brother. He was a brat, but I don't want him to die like that. We're not.
Oh, dear.
Clarity of thoughts needed to be here. Our values are locked up in thinking about it, but not doing what needs. Mental action is the path to abundance. Spirit is transmutation is not yet completed. The mind says, go for it. Your thoughts are leading the way, but in the middle is it embodies. This is the body, and it's exactly in the middle. And that means ground your thoughts, embody your past. Physical changes are coming, which is not happy, right? And grounding elements. So, the more we bless the earth, the less likely she is to blow up on us. So if everybody spend a minute every morning talking about realigning our energy with the earth, I don't know if you saw the show I did with Danny about good vibrations, but it was about the vibrational pull around the world. And there are people who say that we can actually affect the ley lines, which would seem to me to be, but we feel the energy that's going on around us all the time. You go into a ley line, man, you're going to feel it, even if you think you've never felt anything. We can help reimagine our world, because you got to remember, everything starts as a wave and then becomes the particle. So
I get the rumbling under the ground. People will be able to feel it. I get a yes. It's going to erupt. That being said, what Nancy Jean is saying, if we, change, like, don't live in fear about it, send out vibrations that it doesn't erupt, or if it does, it's very, very tiny, like just nothing and nothing. Scott and I
wanted to know if they could pre-order your cards.
I'm not that advanced yet. I don't know. I need to first get a deck made.
Make sure it really works.
Make sure the quality's good, that I'm happy with it, and then I got to figure out which way I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to do it from the site. I don't think I can organize myself enough to order decks here and then mail it out. I don't.
I ship my own stuff. You don't want to do it. You don't want to do your own shipping. I had to finally job it out to a guy who was a fitter and a kidder in Austin. But I have things coming from 3 directions. You only have the one shop. If I could find a one shop, that's where I would be.
Yeah.
But I can't. I have to make sure the stones are cleansed and blessed and correct.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and somebody wanted to know, do we want to do about major cities on the coastlines?
I think we all know what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's obviously, it's happened over time in history where the water lines change based on certain things. And without question, the coastlines are going to change in the next 20 years.
Yes. So it's kind of cheating when we lay cards on stuff that's we
Yeah,
feel.
that one's just that's kind of a scientific fact.
Well, do you want to pull one last card? I usually pull the Power of Surrender.
I would love to pull a card for
Everybody in the house today, and I'm
Yeah.
just so happy so many of you showed up to watch. And I'm doing this not with Andrea, but I am going to be here every day until I finish going through all 20 spots on my garden and go. I'm channeling every night for my guides, and
Right.
it's so much fun. I wish I just had a vision one night and made a deck. It'd been much. It's not easier. It's taking Andrea. You guys have no idea what it's like to let your babies go.
Well, that's it. Like boy, it's just quite a journey because it's an emotional one
Mm-hmm.
to be given the gift of these cards and then want to make sure that they're given out properly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's all timing.
Yeah.
Okay. So my surrender card is surrender unhealthy relationships. Boy, is that something everybody could do? This guy, he's like ripping his heart out. Ooh. Let go of relationships that don't serve you, including unavailable or toxic people. You deserve to be treasured by others and surrounded by positive people. So the lesson for today is that may be what we're supposed to do at Lionsgate. Let go of the negative, just what, and I wouldn't put it in the terms of let go of the negative people. I would ask for the universe to bring in positive people.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I got details. So make sure you pay attention. And there we see the word clarity.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes what people say isn't what they meant to say, or
Mm-hmm.
you might think something and it's not. So details. Make sure to get clarification. I also think, to be honest, that this is a sign of what's to come. The details are going to be released about the orange one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just
That,
remember.
and it's not just, you guys got to understand. I was talking with Andrea. I worked in politics up until the time he emerged, but that was the year I had my knees replaced. So I had a reason. I was doing something else. I
Yeah.
wasn't just sitting in a corner. Actually, I was trying to learn how to not sit in the corner. But I took a bath in the bad politics. I was doing politics in Texas, and a lot of times I'll see details and I'll hear something, in the news, and I'll understand a whole different depth because I've been in the room where decisions are made by polls and what people are doing. And so I really stay out. The garden kit, you go to, okay, at the end of this story is that it's not just the orange one. I have watched this disease crawl out of my state and other states and infest the country. And I did my damnedest on this end to try and stop it. And, I feel like now we're coming to a final reconciliation about a lot of this. But it's not just him. You guys have to go back and look at your school boards that didn't educate your kids, your board of health that doesn't enforce rules, all the way up, because all those people who end up in public positions started somewhere. And right now, I know my push is for people to think about running for school board because QAnon's targeting school boards. And so it's not just him. There's what you see when you see this giant pustule blow up all over us, like giant pimple popper for our country. When that's done, we got to go for the base line of those infections. And that's the most political thing Andre has ever heard me say. Because I don't do politics, right? So,
no, you don't.
To get my garden, go to my website, www.crystaldirections.com, and there's a store. And in that store, you can see my crystal grids, you can see my crystal compasses, you can see the garden, you can see all kinds of things that I do that involve getting yourself grounded back into the crystals. Okay. Okay. Anyway, Andrea, and I promised her I wouldn't keep her forever, and we are now 4 minutes after forever.
Quite all right.
So we really appreciate everyone coming here. Thank you, and I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Nancy Jean.
Bye.